game week. So we got to eliminate distractions, eliminate mistakes, and let's lock in on what the mission is.
The mission. The mission leads you to one of these bad boys. Shout out to the Rhine Fire for becoming ELF champions last year. But now it's a new season. New teams are built. New players are gathered together. All for another season we're about to embark on in the European League of Football. We had a lot of crazy things happen this offseason, but it's time to put all that to rest. At the end of the day, everyone always looks good on paper, but it's time to see if teams have improved. I mean, aren't you tired of losing to the same teams year in, year out? Aren't you ready to make a change, become a contender, and try to fight to become a champion in the European League of Football? Man, it's about that time we see who's real and who's not. It's about that time to embark on another season, a most pivotal season in the European League of Football. Man, we've been waiting on this day since September 24th of 2023, when year 3 ended, and now year 4 is about to begin. It's week 1 of the European League of Football. Let's go!
That's all we're focused on. Going 1-0 at the end of the week. Does everybody understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get it. Let's clean up the field. Let's get out of here.
Brother, done 2. 1, 2, brother!
We doing everything they talk about. You know I'm everything a boss about. Not putting work and gotta toss them out. I'm really biting, they just barking out. I'm really riding, they just talking now. His street, what to talk about. See the big H when I'm walking out.
Hey, before we start the show, I just want to say thank you all for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, share the video with a friend. This is Base Coverage, and we talk European. Hey. Well, we've made it. We made it to year 1 of the European League of Football. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Base Coverage. I'm your host, Jamal Clay. Thank you all for tuning in. Per usual, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, like it, the video, share with a friend, and we keep this conversations rolling. This is the first week of the pregame show, and we're going to review week 1 matchups. Obviously, it's an exciting time. Ball is back. We're going to be diving into a lot of it. I'm going to give you some quick picks, some quick thoughts on games. I won't do a full breakdown. There's been a lot out there. I don't want to be repetitive, and there's some good stuff. You can check out Matt Bresenton, Shady Sports Network, ELF Live, Alex Malchow on multiple different platforms. We all do a pretty good job at covering the league. So I'm going to just give you my quick thoughts on the league and what's going on. But as we take a look at the matchups, a lot of good matchups we got this week. And it's going to be interesting to kind of see how everything all plays out. So, again, we'll dive right into it. And we'll start off with, that first game, and we got the Vienna Vikings versus the Enthroners. In full transparency, obviously we don't know what teams are. I don't think matchup-wise this is good for the Enthroners. Playing against the Vikings, playing against a receiving threat, playing against a fast guy like Jordan Bua, I don't think they have anyone who could cover him. I think they have multiple guys in the run game that's going to open things up. According to my guy, Alex Malchow, this could be Ben Holmes' welcome party to the league. We'll see how it pans out. We also don't know much about the Enthroners and the route they're going. I think just looking at what they did this offseason, they're going to try to control the game offensively. They're going to try to get after you in the rush. But if anybody could get to that second level, there could be some exposure there. But we'll see. We'll see. It's week 1. You never know what's going to happen. But this one's easy for me. I'm going to rock with the Vienna Vikings to win this game. All right. Now, as we head over to Jamal's game of the week, we got the Barcelona Dragons versus the Helvetic Mercenaries. I spoke with Dominique Shelton, quarterback for the Dragons, earlier this week. Just a little bit about the Dragons and their brick-by-brick mentality. But obviously, if you follow me, I root for the team of Switzerland based on my history. I played in Switzerland. Shout out to the Kalana Broncos in the Swiss League. I think this game's going to be interesting. I definitely want to see what this Levi Lewis is about. Definitely want to see, how Helvetic is with everything that's gone around turnaround-wise. I think, up front, I think we can match up well with them. I think defensively we match up well with them. The question is always going to be about the offense and what Carlton Atkin and Anthony Brown and, what those guys are able to do offensively, put points on the board. This one I can see fairly close, 27-24, 24-21 type of game. But if you know me, you know who I'm going with. I'm rocking with Helvetic to win this game. As we slide down over to Italy and we welcome the Milan Seamen versus the Tyrol Raiders. Two teams that we don't know much about. Obviously, Milan had their issues defensively last year. Even if they were middle of the pack, they could have been a team to reckon with, at least maybe compete in the Central for like the Raiders last year, maybe the Munich Ravens, but we'll see. New head coach Jim Ward comes over from Helvetic. Let's see if he can change that and turn that defense around. Raiders, we obviously know everything that's happened over last year, the turnaround that's happened this year, new coach. Just found out recently that, one of the American defensive backs is injured during camp, out for the season. They just lost Vincent Mueller to the Munich Ravens. So when you look at this matchup, I think this one's going to be fairly close. I think the Raiders could potentially be on upset alert, but the more I think about it is I don't know how much I can trust Milan's defense until I see it. Also, if this turns into a track meet, it could favor the Raiders just based on, the guys that they have at receivers, the Adrian Platzgummers, the Chris Hahn or Philip Hahn, the Marco Schneiders, and they bring in obviously other talent too. I'd be excited to see what this Fulford guy is about at quarterback. And if Raiders have finally found their quarterback since replacing Sean Shelton, I'm going to rock with the Raiders. I'm going to go very conservative this week until I kind of see what these teams are about. But I'm going to rock with the Raiders to win this game. All right. Now, as we slide over to Sunday, the second game of the week, Berlin versus the Panthers. The game, 11,000 tickets have been sold. Both these teams are trying to compete to take over the East and beat the Vienna Vikings and maybe clinch the East Division. We'll see who gets off to a fast start. Both these teams are kind of built similarly. Both these teams are kind of built to go against each other. Obviously, you think of Kyle Kitchens, you think of Keanu Ebanks. You look at receivers, Devon Bureau, you look at Aaron Jackson. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all pans out. I know the Panthers are going to try to establish a run game, especially with the two-headed monster at running back. But on the other side, can the Panthers defend Berlin's receiving threats? And can Jacob Sullivan, obviously there's been a lot of talks about him. Is he the guy? Can he get things turned around for Berlin and get them to the next step? We're going to see. I'm going to rock with the Panthers in this game. This also could be a close game. Again, the matchups to look at is the Panthers secondary going up against Berlin and their receiving threat, and Berlin's front seven versus the Panthers run game. Those are going to be the two matchups to keep an eye on, but I like the Panthers in this game. Next, we have the Rhein Fire and the Cologne Centurions. Ryan's going to win this game. I'm interested to see what the Centurions are about. I've heard things about Connor Weddington being injured, so I'm not sure how healthy he is. We don't know what Isaiah Weed's going to be defensively. They got the John Owens at corner, who was pretty good, one of the top, or maybe one of the most underrated cornerbacks in the league. But the Fire, they just got too much. They got too much Cologne guys on their team that are playing now, making a difference. Obviously, Morris Kinsey, Flatmore, Simon. But I think the overall experience, I think from a coaching standpoint, I think Ryan's just too much in this game. I won't dive too deep as it. This one's going to be an easy one for me. No disrespect. Rhein Fire is going to take this one. What will be interesting to see how Glenn Tunga performs against that front seven. I know Cologne did a good job defensively up front. We're trying to build a stout defensive line, but we'll see how that pans out. Next one. Another team, I already said earlier, the Raiders could be on upset alert. Believe it or not, the Hamburg Sea Devils could be on upset alert. Prague Lions had a really, really good defense beginning of the year last year. They just weren't playing complimentary ball. They've done a lot to improve that defense in regards to who they brought in, especially on that in the secondary. They got speed at linebacker. They got depth at D-line. It's really going to be about their offense and what they're going to be able to do. And Hamburg lost a lot of guys, especially defensively. I think the matchup is the Hamburg Sea Devil secondary versus the Prague receiving group, because they're kind of deep too. Similar like the Raiders, Prague's deep at receiver with talent as well. But what's this offense going to look like? You got Dan Dish taking over as head coach now with a full season. It's a complete rebrand in terms of who the team is. And I think if Hamburg sleeps on Prague might be able to catch them slipping. And it could be an upset on Sunday down there in the Czech Republic. We'll see. Like I said before, I'm going conservative until I see what these teams are about. I'm rocking with the Hamburg Sea Devils to win. I'm going to say it's a close one. I'm going to say 31-28 Hamburg Sea Devils. Let's take this game. All right. Then we got the game of the week. We got the Munich Ravens versus the Stuttgart Surge. All right. Bad blood, new blood, one of the new rivalries in the ELF. So we'll see how this pans out. Munich, great offense. Great job building their team in the offseason this year. Stuttgart done a good job as well, too. The thing to keep an eye on this game is Stuttgart kind of is aware of Munich and kind of know who Munich is. And why do I say that? Not only did they play against each other last year, but Stuttgart played against this offense last year. All right, when Kyle Callahan was the offensive coordinator for the Raiders, obviously their first game, it was a 6-3 matchup, and he held that offense in check. Was it play calling? Was it personnel? Was it a little bit of both? We don't know. But Stuttgart is not walking into this game blind because, again, they have that experience going up against Callahan, who was the offensive coordinator for Munich. However, Munich potentially could have the best offensive and defensive line in all of the European League of Football this year. And not only with talent, but with experience. They're deep at secondary. Their defense is going to resemble Kendra Ellison, the madman. And obviously we saw what he can do with talent and what he's done in Hamburg. But you can never count the Surge out. They got weapons at receiver. They got Kai Hunter and Cantor at running back. And Riley Hennessy, you definitely can't sleep on him. This one is going to be great. There's already been some back and forth between the fan bases and everything, and obviously there's been some stuff being said, some friendly banter through social media, but I'm excited to watch this game. I think ultimately, the Surge are going to get the first one. It's at home. Obviously, you take in some things into account, but it's going to be interesting. This game is going to say a lot about these two teams and maybe their trajectory season. So I'm rocking with the Surge to win this game. We'll see how this all pans out. But just to recap, I got Vienna Vikings, I got the Helvetic Mercenaries, I got the Raiders, I got the Panthers, got the Fire, got the Hamburg Sea Devils, got the Surge. I got Hamburg Raiders potentially on upset alert, but games to keep an eye on. My game of the week, obviously, I'm rocking with the Mercenaries. But we'll see. We'll see how things pan out. Hey, keep an eye out this season. We're going to be making picks with First Down Magazine. We did a pick segment last year, and we'll post those on the Instagram channel, Athletes Forum Instagram. I'm going to be in Alex Malchow's Pick'em League. If you haven't signed up, please sign up. It's going to be a fun league to follow. Set your fantasy lineups. One fantasy guy. Let's go to the game. All right. There is a fantasy guy I want you guys to keep an eye out for. And I'm going to say Jordan Bua is the guy you want on your fantasy team this year, this week in week one. Obviously, it's the matchup. It's the speed. This might be the best Vienna team, and Ben Holmes might be having a welcome party. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for Jordan Bua to have a good game, not even offensively, but special teams as well. Maybe a kick return to the crib. We'll see. But Jordan Bua is my fantasy player of the week via First Down Magazine. So we'll see how all that pans out. But, hey, thank you all for tuning in. Again, subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment. Let's talk ELF ball. Share the channel with a friend. All right. It's week one in ELF. I'm excited to be back. I know you're excited to be back. Let's go.
Nobody. Hard work, they don't know about it.